of that too. And I love seeing it. They've latched on, and I love seeing our region grow together. And I love seeing John take a lot of the steam that he and momentum from some of those other guys and putting the SmackDown last week and winning March Madness. And he's definitely got the hot hand right now. He's going to be sharing a few things about what's working and what's happening in East Riverside. And so with that, my friend, please take it over whenever you're ready. Give us some goods.
You guys all need to get a money cash button. That is the motivation every day. But thanks, Gilbert. A couple of things I just wanted to share that's happening in a positive way in our office is I think the first thing is just the culture that's happening right now. Like we kind of just created this championship-like culture from the beginning of the year, and it started with our staff. We had a very small team, and then it just kind of kept growing. We just kept pounding the same message on all of our people. But the biggest thing that drives our culture is our WhatsApp group chat. People in my division, they definitely know like my group chat's always literally on fire. Basically, like anytime something positive happens, I want people posting flames in there, right? Like someone just posted that they made the dean's list and everybody was just flaming them up and just telling them congrats. So we have like a really strong family like atmosphere here. And what I always tell people in training in the interview, I want to provide a supportive environment where you guys can reach out and get help from anybody on the team, not just me. So I think we're just like trying to create leaders that create other leaders. So there's a lot of people that are just reaching out to each other, right? It's not just me. It's not just my assistant managers, but just like top representatives, new representatives. And we're always having like a new rep share like what's working for them, just kind of like how we do on our region calls. Phone jam culture is another big thing. I think my team loves making phone calls, right? Like sometimes they just do random phone jams without me and I feel left out, right? And like the other day, like Andrew in my office, he just had a Zoom up and he was like, who wants to hop on a phone jam with me? We got to keep this train rolling. And there was like 6 people at that phone jam and I didn't even have to start that. But it just started like, this is something I learned from Jay Brad a little while ago, just like doing like these little micro goals for your phone jam. We're not driving, like I'm not telling people do 10 demos in a week or do 7 demos. It's like, hey, can you book 2 today? Right. And if you do that 5 days a week, they're going to do 10 demos. So we're just really focusing on like little micro results and just winning like the day. So also the Q app is a big thing for us doing everything virtually right now, because I can see how many calls people are making, right? And I can actually help them out to their success at a higher level, just because like if someone's like struggling, they're like, I only scheduled 1 demo, I can look at how many calls they made. I'm like, dude, you made 4 calls, right? It's like, can you make 10 more calls and let's see what happens from there. And so we're just doing like little driving it just on the day-to-day basis, right? So it's just like important to know how many demos do you have on the day. But the key thing that we're preaching every single day, every appointment, every time I talk to a representative are these 4 things: enthusiasm sells, build great rapport, call after you present the homemaker set. All right, I think last week in our office, we sold like 7 homemakers, right? So that's like a good chunk of CPO right there, right? And you guys got to remember, like if you haven't watched one of your representatives do a demo on the new like online demo, like we just hop on their Zooms and help them out and close, and like my assistant managers are helping out. They're calling us in right there during those times, but those guys don't know how to drop down, right? Like I realized this 3 weeks ago when I went field training with somebody. He went from the homemaker down to like garden tools. I was like, how'd you do that? Right. So we just really worked on like the drop down process. I was like, you got to call me at the homemaker set. And that's also like their check-in for their appointment is when they call me at the homemaker set. So that way we can impact those demos early. And then the 4th thing that we're always preaching is do 1, book 1. Every time you do a demo, just book a demo. All right. Like phone jams don't need to be hard. You don't need to sit down for an hour to make your phone calls. If you just did a demo and booked the demo, you always have a full schedule. And we start that right from training, right? Usually my representatives leave training with 7 demos. And if they just do 1, book 1 throughout their fast start, you always have 7 ahead of you. So don't make the job super hard on yourself. Just take the time and just schedule another demo. Like what else are you doing right now? Watching Tiger King, right? So it's just like just do the demo, book a demo, and then you're good for the day, right? So just simplicity. Like we don't really teach anything new, nothing overcomplicated for our representatives. I try to keep things as simple as possible. And then also another big thing right now is our team meeting attendance. I love seeing our team meetings with like 25 representatives there. Because right now, like, there's no excuse to make it to a team meeting. You don't have to worry about, I don't have gas money, I don't have this, I don't have that. The only excuse I've got is my phone was broke. But I was like, how are you texting me? Right? So like, hop on the team meeting, bro. Here's the link. So just having lots of attendance for the events. Something I'm learning from Dan is like just doing like a little office hour thing, right? Like, hey, if you need help on a demo, Andrew's going to be on Zoom. Hop on. You ask him any questions, and Andrew's my assistant manager. So like just doing the office hours, right? Just letting people. There's lots of people that have questions. They just don't know when to ask or how to ask them, and sometimes having other people ask questions, answer their questions, right? So we're going to start doing that a little bit more, where they could just hop on a Zoom. I'm going to start implementing that with my CSPs. Like, hey, you want to learn how to sell cookware? Daniel Reeder's going to be doing office hours during this time. You can ask him anything on cookware, upgrades, or all that extra stuff. So just utilizing this Zoom platform and the virtual opportunity to its max. Now, the things that I'm thinking about right now is like, how do we scale this, right? So that's why I'm trying to like figure out how we can scale this to a bigger level, right? Like with the virtual remote interviews, right? We just trained up 4 assistant managers to run interviews. And it's like something super simple. So that way we can start recruiting a lot more, especially when mailers start hitting. And then also it's just like, you can still develop this way as well, right? I feel like it's actually even easier to develop representatives just because they can be more impactful this way. Like we just added 3 assistant managers in the past 2 weeks, even though we haven't even like had an office, right? So like those are things that I'm thinking about, like how many more assistant managers can I get in this virtual world? And then how, and the other thing I'm really trying to figure out is like, how do we keep attention, right? So with everything being done virtual, right? Like how can we keep things new? How can we keep things fun? So like we did a cash phone jam. So this is something I got from Evan. Like, hey, whoever makes the most demos and makes the most calls, you get $20, right? And I'm just like cash upping people $20 right there. But I could see all that stuff on Zoom so that you can't hide it. So, or not on Zoom, on Q, right? So just stuff like that to keep things fun in the office, keep things engaging. Now, I want to give you guys a few things that you guys can implement just in your offices right away that helped us with what we've been building. All right. And Evan Keller always says it takes 3 weeks to build momentum. All right. So this wasn't just like an overnight thing. Like this started the first week of quarantine when we had a 2K new business week. Dan always says if like you have a week that's not going to pay the bills, you need to stop everything and really focus on that. So right there that week, I just figured out everything. I watched everything you can watch on the virtual interview, reach out to every virtual manager. And this is something I think we could all utilize a little bit more, is just each other in the region. Right? Like Anthony Hayes knows, like I called him like a million times and texted him like, what the hell are you doing? Right? Chris Gehring, I reached out to him. We chatted like for like an hour, like at 10 p.m. at night, just working on the business. And he reminded me like your honor has to be greater than your mood, right? So it's like with working at home, like it's very easy to get lazy. It's very easy to play video games. It's very easy to call in the day early, right? So he's like, you got to want it bad enough. And he was like, I know Hayes wants it really bad, so don't let him kick your ass, right? And stuff like that. So just like remembering like to like keep yourself in a schedule, right? Keep yourself like locked in and loaded. Get yourself separated from your bedroom, like find a different place to work. So this way your energy's still up. But those are just some things you can just start implementing right there. But then also something you guys can implement right now is, what is your systems for contact in your office? Right. So something that we're trying to do, I try to impact my team at least 3 times a day through our WhatsApp culture. I usually send something out in the morning, right? Me and Jeremy Blau like usually send out like a message to get people fired up and kind of guide them throughout the day. Then I do like a little bit of recognition in the middle of the day. And then usually I'm posting like a video like, hey guys, great stuff. This is where we're at for the week. We have this many demos. It's 6 o'clock right now. Let's hop on the phone. Let's get a phone jam going. Like if you don't have at least 3 ahead of you, you should probably hop on the phones right now. I know you're not doing anything. And I'm just calling out the whole quarantine thing. I love it. Like I know they're not doing anything. So just utilizing that. Then also, what's your daily communication with people? So like, are you having people check in on WhatsApp? Are you having them text you at a certain time? Are you having people call in? Or are you calling them? I think just communication, because if you don't have some form of standard, they're going to sleep in until 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock, right? And then by the time they wake up, the day's halfway over and it's very hard to get stuff done. So right now I have my people just checking in with me by 10 a.m. They just send me a thumbs up or a train. We use a lot of trains in our office, right? That's our momentum vehicle. So just finding your systems for communication, I think, is a big thing. And then also, how are you keeping track of your demos? And I would put a star next to this one. All right. This is literally what drove our sales last week, was just making sure we're on top of demos. Right. So like, I know we have 20 demos today. Right. And then I also know that we have like 7 tomorrow. So like tonight we're doing a phone jam to drive those demos for tomorrow and Friday. Right. The big reason why we're already at 5K this week is just because we were just keeping track of the demos, right? I made sure on Sunday we loaded up Monday, loaded up Tuesday, right? And then some of my key staffers and the system managers, they did a phone jam on Monday to load up Tuesday and Wednesday. So we're already over 5K. And like the goal is to try to beat what we did last week. And it's just like making sure we're focused on that demo number each day. So I know lots of people are doing different things to keep track of their demos, but like actually do it. I know when I had WebPDI, I never actually used it like to keep track of demos. And that was probably why I didn't succeed in the before, right? But like, I love the Q app. It just tells me how many demos we have for the next day. And I'm trying to figure out like what numbers we want to hit each day, because every day is going to be different. You know, certain days you have more demos than the next, right? Like I always know Thursdays we have a lot of demos because we do our team meetings on Wednesday, right? So just figuring out what you want to use. WebPDI, oh man, Evan, I'm in trouble. All right. But WebPDI, you can use Q, you can use an Excel sheet, but just keep track of the demos. I think that's like the biggest thing right there. All right. And then also, what are your systems for solving problems in your office? Right. So this was like a big thing. I have like a whole virtual playlist I just sent to Goose on like how to like troubleshoot virtual demo answers. Right. So if someone I noticed they're not closing sales, right, I'm sending them How to Handle No's by Mike Abramowitz, right, and how to negotiate and drop down, right? There's a great drop down video for Carlos Cordero that I posted. I sent to a rep, had him watch it, send me his light bulbs from that, sold a homemaker right after, right? Virtual recommendations, like a rep's getting like 1, 2, 3 on appointments. There's that Maddie Brunner video and then a Mike Abramowitz video, and I'm sending those to people. So I have like videos that I'm sending to everybody for whatever like their issue is, and then I'm having them giving me their takeaways from that. So this way I know that they watched it, and then this way it's also teaching me too, because I haven't watched them all, right? But then I learn from their takeaways. So those are just a few things that we're doing in our office right now. Hopefully some of that stuff helps you guys out, and let's just attack. I think it's a really great opportunity to really focus on the stuff that we've been putting off, because we all have more time than usual. I know like I was guilty of like, oh, I don't have time because I have campus and that and this, but like just do it, start learning your stuff, and let's continue to grow and dominate.
John Baker, the goods right there, man. That was awesome. Thanks so much for sharing all that stuff right there. I think that everybody got some very relevant and actionable information that you can use from Mr. Baker. It's easy to see why he did so well, and just take in like the energy that it takes, this intensity, the enthusiasm that it takes to succeed in, you know, running an office at a challenging time. Like that's one of the things I really see from Baker and from our next speaker, Anthony Hayes, just the energy that they are displaying right now to take this on. So great stuff. Anthony talked a little bit about PRs last week on the call, and our division managers wanted him to dive a little more deeply into active recruiting, both PRs and social media. So Anthony, we'll give you some time to share in whatever direction